Over 44 years ago, Rox D. Xebec, the most dangerous man known to the world, gathered several overpowered pirates in one island, all seeking a path to fame, fortune, and a goal of taking over the world. For 6 years, these monstrous characters roamed the seas until 38 years ago, where it would all end at God Valley by the hands of Monkey D. Garp and Gold D. Roger. But what do we really know about this crew? Well, in this video, we are going to break down every member of the Rox Pirates we know so far. Although we have only seen a silhouette of the captain, we can learn a lot about him just from the type of people who followed him. Because to form a group, you need people to agree on something, like how the Straw Hats are connected through each other's dreams, which can be fulfilled from their adventure together. They each serve a purpose to benefit the crew, like Nami navigating, Sanji cooking, or Chopper healing. However, what does Whitebeard have in common with Big Mom and Kaido? One is a man who is all about protecting his family who aren't even his own blood, while Big Mom and Kaido abuse their own children for their desires. Well, the first thread that connects them all is strength. Every single member of the Rox crew were powerhouses, as after they disbanded, pretty much all of them went on to become notorious pirates in their own right. The second thread is their mutual goal against the world government, and the third and most important thread was Rox himself. To lead such a crew, he must have had an influence beyond measure. But without further ado, let's get into every single member of the Rox Pirates. First, we have Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, which makes him amongst the strongest in the Rox crew as well. At the prime age of 30, he, along with other notable pirates, gathered in Fullalead Island to hear out Rox and decided to join him. Whitebeard was not only a Conqueror's Haki user, but an up-and-coming legend who would rival the likes of Roger down the line. At this point in life, Whitebeard always longed to find a family, as even in his previous ship, he declared such a dream to his comrades. This might have played into his decision, and as we learned later on, the experience was a total opposite of what he desired. This is showcased by his blatant distaste for the crew, which he used as an argument to not let Odin join the Whitebeard pirates. He hinted that too many wild and rebellious natures coming together caused the Rox pirates to be destroyed. His role within the Rox crew likely leaned towards the peacemaker, and as the break brother, he dealt with disputes helping Rox keep everyone together. However, this might have been a much harder task than he bargained for. So what kept Whitebeard in this crew for 6 whole years if there was no camaraderie that he was searching for? We know he's a loyal person, but why did he decide to follow and deal with these crazy pirates? Well, it comes down to Whitebeard's true goal of joining the Rox Pirates being his dislike of the world government, which Rox wanted to fight and dethrone to take over the system himself. Whitebeard's past revealed to us his childhood as an orphan in Sphinx Island. They lost their membership to the world government due to poverty as they couldn't pay their heavenly tribute. With the government's protection gone, pirates roamed free and plundered his home, leading to him having to become a pirate himself at an early age to provide for his village with the money he earned. It would make sense for Whitebeard to blame the government and the current world order for his misfortune. We know Whitebeard has a deep connection to Sphinx Island, as evident by the sanctuary he created for the people in the future. So if a man is claiming to become the king of the world and fix this broken system, it's no wonder a young Whitebeard would follow Rox, even if he didn't like the rest of the members. And one of these members was actually directly recruited by Whitebeard himself, Kaido. Now, Kaido had a similar reason to Whitebeard in joining Rox. He was born in a poor nation similar to Whitebeard's, named the Vodka Kingdom. Due to him being from the Oni race, he rose through the ranks, becoming the strongest soldier in the country at only the age of 10. However, by age 13, he started questioning the system and the king, because he and the kingdom were invading and looting other towns in order to afford the heavenly tribute to the world government. Due to his defiance and strength, the king decided to sell him off to the Marines so they could be invited to the reverie. Through his persecution, he now also had a reason to hate the system and the world government. Kaido escaped and evaded capture many times after this, this, warranting a bounty of 70 million just by the age of 15, during which he happened to be on Fulalede Island fighting a bunch of notorious pirates in combat. Fulalede being the base for the Rocks pirates, Rocks ordered Whitebeard to invite young Kaido to join their cause for usurping the corrupt government. Upon enlisting as an apprentice, Kaido formed a sibling-like bond with a fellow crewmate in Charlotte Linlin, who would later be known as Big Mom. At this point, Big Mom at the age of 24 already had like 18 children who all have distinct features and characteristics about them.
What did you say?
I said all her children had distinct features and characteristics.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Already had like 18 children. Big Mom's whole goal in life is to create a safe haven for everyone of any race without discrimination or prejudice. That's essentially how Totoland functions. The only catch being is that they all have to pay tribute to her in the form of their life force. She herself was judged and discriminated against by society. Even her own parents abandoned her for being different. She just wants a place to belong, like Kaido, who was persecuted for his strength as an Oni, or Whitebeard wanting a family. Rocks gave her this promise. Her vision of a utopian Totoland could be fulfilled through his fight against the world government. Although this promise never came into fruition, Big Mom did gain a debt of a lifetime from Kaido when she gave him the fish fruit model Azure Dragon. This was like a parting gift to her little brother. She would even advise Kaido to counsel her if he had any troubles, but sadly for her, after the crew disbanded, he went on his own path. It's highly suggested that she wanted to smash him and have some Oni baby because, you know, her kingdom is missing 3 races and Kaido's race could be one of them. They would later rekindle their relationship and form an alliance due to their shared dream of taking over the world, which Big Mom and Kaido had once pursued as members of the Rocks Pirates. During this alliance, Big Mom mentions that though she was dutiful in serving their previous captain in Rocks Xebec, her impressions of him isn't so great, calling his ass good for nothing, illustrating her disappointment and distrust. This goes back to Rocks' promise, which he did not fulfill. This promise is the primary thread that links all of these monsters together, from which we come to our next one, Golden Lion Shiki, who wanted to take over the world himself. He even went as far as to ask Roger to join forces with him to achieve his goal. So it makes sense that Shiki would ally himself with Rocks to pursue the same objective. Now, although the movie Strong World isn't canon, it gives us a hint that Shiki also had a dislike for the world government's control, as shown by him trying to drop an island over Marineford. His armada of ships and his belief in the power of numbers must have also served as the backbone of the Rocks Pirates' strength. Remember, every single member would later make a move that would be based on their previous experience. Shiki is no different, as he would go on to command a large pirate crew of at least 51 divisions, very much like Whitebeard pirates. His tactical abilities weren't a joke either. This all must have stemmed from his time with Rocks, and again, like some of the other members, the dream Rocks offered was never forgotten. However, not all members of the Rocks Pirates crew were united by this notion of toppling the world government. As the next one, we have Captain John, and all this dude cared about was money. This dude was so in love with money that after Rocks' crew disbanded, he formed his own crew and managed to build a ridiculously large treasure trove. But because he didn't want to share any of it with his fellow crewmates, they game ended him. However, the crew sadly could not find where he hid the treasure also, which was only found recently by none other than Buggy D. Clown. But this characteristic of John's gives a huge hint to his endeavors with the Rocks crew. Since Rocks' true goal was to take over the world, on their way they would have gotten filthy rich just from looting all the celestial dragons. So a greedy man like Captain John helping achieve this goal comes at no surprise at all. Wang Shi, or Ochoku, is another notable member of the Rocks Pirates, who later went on to become a top shot in the world of One Piece by taking over Fulalead Island and being involved in the Rocky Port incident. This dude was so strong that he fought against Blackbeard and was only defeated after Kobe's help. Now, a man who couldn't be stopped by the wielder of the Yami Yami no Mi and the Gura Gura no Mi must have been on a league of his own in terms of strength. However, by him taking over Fulalead Island after Rox's death, this could give us a hint that he aspired to be like Rox, or still respected him enough to help preserve the former base of his late captain. No other member seems to have any attachment to Rox other than this man stationed at Fulalead. Last but not least, the newest member to have been revealed as part of Rox's crew is Miss Buckingham, or Buckingham Stussy. We know she was a former member through Stussy, the first ever clone, who was based on the DNA of Miss Buckingham, which sounds very similar to Bakken, doesn't it? And I know Stussy is a total baddie, while Bakken is, she looks like this, but this can be explained through her being extremely old, 76 in fact. But everything now lines up. Bakken had claimed she and Whitebeard had a fling, which resulted in this monstrosity in Edward Weevil being born. There were already rumors of them two being in the same crew, so it must mean that Whitebeard smashed this woman, right? Well, no. What if we were to tell you that Weevil isn't a result of Whitebeard getting it down? Rather, he's a test tube baby mixed with Whitebeard's DNA along with Stussy's. Rox's pirate crew disbanded after God Valley, which happened 38 years ago. But Weevil is only 35 years old, meaning he was conceived 2 to 3 years after Whitebeard and Stussy separated. What's more likely is that this psycho purposely joined Rox's crew to gather DNA. In the cover of chapter 1070, we see the full roster of Mads, where one of the members look eerily similar to a young Miss Buckingham. Now, this can't be Stussy, as even clones need time to age. So what if after recreating herself with the help of Mads, she decided to make her own child using Whitebeard's mustache hair? Her joining Rox also fits, as being someone who loves science and experimentation, Buckingham would love the funding similar to Vegapunk. And what better way to get funding than through the strongest pirate of his era, Rox D. Xebec. She can help create weapons or even be a doctor for the Rocks Pirates while having research money. Now, another thing we learn about Rocks by analyzing these crew members is that their loyalty didn't lie with Rocks, but his promise of taking over the world, or his strength to make everyone's dreams a reality. So after his defeat, it's natural for them all to disband and go their separate ways. They didn't follow him because they believed in him, rather they followed him for convenience. Although the Straw Hats follow Luffy to realize their own dreams, they do not waver even when Luffy is defeated, as we have seen from his countless defeats against Kaido and Wano. The Straw Hats still believed Luffy could pull through. However, Rox's crew might have been the reason for his loss in God Valley 38 years ago. Due to them believing in the greed of having their dreams becoming reality through Rox's power, they started to distrust him as soon as he seemed weak against Roger and Garp. That's why Big Mom tells a young Kaido to not trust Rox, as they meant nothing to him, just like he meant nothing to his crew without his strength. This is bolstered further by how Kaido chose to structure his own crew and what someone who was above him meant to him. They needed to be more powerful than him. That's who Joy Boy was to Kaido, someone who is the strongest. Because the closest man he had seen who came to toppling the world government was Rox D. Xebec, whose whole revolution was built on power and strength. If you guys want to learn about another monster crew, the red-haired pirates, then click the video on screen right now.